Hey guys, let's try this for a third time. I've got about 18 minutes to go before I have to clock in. But, recently I was listening to another clip provided by TV Tracks of Jason Salamonster Sounds Off, and he was answering a question. He was answering a question from a viewer, from a listener, and they asked and kind of pointed out that they feel with the upcoming women's tournament in the next month or two, that the winner of that should be the one that goes on and faces and defeats Asuka during SummerSlam weekend at TakeOver Brooklyn 3. And, I have no problem with that idea. But I think, honestly, and Jason obviously doesn't have a problem with that idea. In fact, he says he likes it more so now than the whole Ember Moon deal. But I don't see them doing it. What I see them doing, honestly, is the winner of the tournament going on to face either the women's champion of Raw or SmackDown Live. That's what I feel is going to happen if they do that. Because, one, you put more legitimacy on the tournament and on the women involved by doing so, because you're saying, hey, because basically you're telling them, hey, you've proven to us that not only are you good enough to beat 30-something other women, or to outlast 30-something other women, but you've proven to us that you've proven to us that you have earned an opportunity to prove that you might be the very best in all of WWE on the main stage, on the main roster, and on one of the main big four, which means SummerSlam. I think honestly that's what they will do. Now you might say they probably won't. Now you're saying, well, Brian, they probably won't do that. They'll probably do the smart thing and go with they'll probably go with the winner going up against Asuka. Well, here's a problem with that, and this is spoilers. A little bit of spoilers. Asuka's going to be involved in a fatal four-way at NXT TakeOver Chicago. That's what she's going to be involved in. Now you might say, well, she was involved in a fatal four-way before and she survived. Yeah, but she faced Nikki Cross, who's going to be part of this. She faced Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. Now, with the exception of Nikki Cross, who basically can go who seems to be one of the women that can go toe-to-toe with her, there is no Peyton Royce. There is no Billie Kay. What there is instead is Ruby Riott, the former Heidi Lovelace, and Ember Moon, completely different species of women athletes. And the ladies here are the kind that can not only probably bring it to Asuka, but these are the kind of women that will probably smarten up and realize, hey, we need to take this woman out of the equation. How do we do that? And I think what will happen is we might get some kind of backstage segment before TakeOver where William Regal either announces, or the women go to William Regal and ask him to do it, that this will probably become a fatal four-way elimination, basically a four-way dance. With the possibility that this could be Asuka's swan song, because she could end up being the first eliminated, just like Nia Jax was at WrestleMania. Now I know you're thinking, well, that probably won't happen, Brian. You don't know that. Now, I do agree with the fact that if they do go with Asuka, if they do go with an idea for the winner to face Asuka, then that basically shows that then the storyline there is, hey, WWE's throwing everybody they possibly could at this girl. Everybody they could possibly think of, and she's overcome everything. It's like no matter who you put up against her, she basically knocks them down. What do we do? It's like, what do we do? How do we fix this? And the storyline is you could have the winner of the tournament go on to face Asuka, like the viewer suggested to Jason, And you can have Asuka come to part of the storyline. You can have Asuka confront Regal and maybe some other officials and say, hey, it seems that nobody could beat me, so you got to go outside the company to find somebody, and that could happen. I'm not saying it will, but I just don't really believe WWE would do that. I believe WWE more so than anything. I got about 12 minutes. I think WWE more so than anything is going to let the winner challenge whoever the Raw Women's Champion is or the SmackDown Women's Champion is, because it not only legitimizes that tournament more so, but it puts eyes on the product again, because fans in a sense will be invested as to see exactly what this person from the outside can do with this one opportunity. I really think that's what they're going to do. Now, I don't have nothing against the whole stipulation of them going against Asuka, at Brooklyn 3. I don't, but I just don't see WWE having Asuka hold on to the belt that much longer. I think in a sense what they're going to do is they're going to have Asuka basically drop the belt at Chicago. I really do, because something's going to happen to where the women will find a way to incapacitate her, get her out of the match, get her out of the equation, so at least they have a fair chance to see who becomes champion. I really do. And if it's an elimination match, they'll do everything they can to make sure Asuka's the first eliminated. Now, again, like I said, I have nothing against the whole Asuka possibility, but I think it's more along the lines that they'll have the winner face whoever the Raw or Women's Champion is. The Raw or SmackDown Women's Champion, that is at SummerSlam. That's where I feel the direction they're going to go in. Now, with that said, there is another possibility too. You see, one thing they brought up is all these tournaments have always had a first ever as a result. The Cruiserweight tournament, we had our first ever Cruiserweight champion. The UK tournament, we had our first ever United Kingdom champion. So, to me, I think honestly what we're going to get, if they don't go the route of possibly the winner facing Asuka if Asuka's still champion, or the winner facing either the SmackDown Live or Raw Women's Champion, one thing they could end up doing, because this has been common in the last two tournaments, is they can crown somebody as a first ever champion, and you can have the first ever women's whatever champion. For example, a lot of WWE is trying to show that the women are just as equal as the men on all levels. I mean, you've had the women for a better part of half a year, if not more so, main event Monday Night main event and close out Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live. A recent example is Naomi and Charlotte. You've had the women in a cage match on SmackDown Live. You had the women in Hell in a Cell at the Raw pay-per-view Hell in a Cell, and they closed out that show. So, to me, if WWE wants to prove that the women are on the same level as the men, and they want to continue that trend of crowning first ever champions, I think that may be another direction to go in with this women's tournament, is they crown a first ever women's champion. But what kind of women's champion? Well, obviously you got to create a championship that's the women's equivalent to the Intercontinental or United States Championship. So to me, you either create a women's television title, a women's universal title, a women's internet championship, a women's network championship, a women's national championship, who knows? Or North American championship, who knows? I think more along the line, since we don't have a television title around there, I think that might be the one they go with, is a women's television champion. So that way, not only do you give the women's division, or the women, whoever the champion may end up, whatever brand, a chance to shine, if you will, but you give the women that are already on the main roster, maybe even the NXT roster, the women that don't normally get an opportunity, you give them more of an opportunity to shine. You give them more of an opportunity to shine and give them more of an opportunity to go after a championship and prove that they deserve that opportunity. So my opinion is, as I close this out, is I look at it this way. I look at the winner of this women's tournament, and again, I have nothing against them going against Asuka if Asuka's still champion, because that could really help out and legitimize NXT and the tournament. But my main thing is I truly believe that the woman that wins this tournament will get either a championship shot, not at the NXT Women's title, but at either the Raw Women's Championship or the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Or I see them crowning a first ever women's champion, and most legitimately, realistically, I could see it being a television championship that they give to the winner of this tournament. Because then, like I said, you could have that champion, whoever it is, be on whatever brand they want to be on. You want to put that women's television champion on Raw, that's fine. But if you want more women to have more opportunities, you put it on SmackDown Live. But again, those are the two realistic directions I think they go with this women's tournament. You know, when it begins in a few months, and ends. I believe the winner of this tournament is either going to get a shot at the Raw or SmackDown Live women's championships, or it's going to be crowned a new women's champion, quite possibly a women's television champion at best. That's what I feel they're going to do. You know, so could I be wrong? Absolutely. Could they go with the winner facing Asuka if they keep Asuka's champion? Absolutely. But I look at it this way. They created new championship belts in NXT. I think it's only likely that whoever wins this fatal four-way at Chicago is going to be the one that championship was created for. In other words, Asuka right now is only holding it for whoever they give it to. Most likely Ember Moon, if that's the direction they're going in. So, but really, I mean, I don't have a problem with the winner facing Asuka at SummerSlam weekend at Brooklyn 3, but I just don't see it happening. I really don't. I see more than likely them favoring the Raw Women's Championship or SmackDown Live Women's Championship of the main roster, because it only brings credibility to the tournament and to that championship as a whole altogether, but it puts a lot of more legitimacy both ways. So, but again, that's what I feel they're either going to do it that way, or they're going to crown a new champion for the women, whether it's a television, North American, or whatever kind of title they give the championship. So, but that's really what I think they may do. So let me know what you think down below. Comment if you like. Jason Solomon, I hope you respond to this, and I'll talk to y'all later.